All right, man, we back. Um, our second episode of the first down. We're gonna be reviewing what happened week one, going over our horrible week one picks. Big news: Odell with the watch, Cleveland losing, the Patriots dominating, the Patriots getting Antonio Brown, and then we'll look forward to picking week one. But I appreciate everybody for tapping in. If you have it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, won't miss another video. And yeah, this is go in the NFL live playlist. All these episodes or any live NFL video I do outside of this, it will go in this live playlist, and our regular videos go in the regular NFL playlist as well. Renardo salute. And yeah, I was horrible week one pick. I think I was like 7 for fucking 16 or some shit like that. But I stepped out on a limb and picked the week one is always difficult to pick. Um, I took the Packers. They beat the Bears though. Started off good though. Um, I took the hold on 1 second, and I go game by game and kind of talk about it. I took the Rams to defeat Carolina. That happened. Took the Eagles to defeat the Redskins. That happened, even though it got to a slow start. Jets blew a lead to the Buffalo Bills. I took them. The Falcons laid an egg versus Minnesota. I took them. I took Baltimore over over Miami. They won huge. Jacksonville lost to Kansas City. Their quarterback got injured. Cleveland lost to Tennessee. Um, and I'll talk more about these games in depth. The Colts almost beat the Chargers. They lost in overtime. I put the Colts. Seahawks beat the Bengals. I got that right. The Bucks laid the egg. I just think Jameis ain't that guy at this point. They lost. The Cowboys won. The Lions had a draw. I picked them versus the Cardinals. The Steelers laid the egg versus the Patriots. Texas lost, almost won, and the Raiders ended up winning. So I was all right. So we had 16 games. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was 7 for 16. So nigga wasn't even 50%. But hey, it is what it is. We move on in this week. I ain't never claimed to be a pick'em expert. I'm better. I'm better with the motherfucking playoffs for sure. But week one, it is what it is. And the games I missed on the Texans, they could have won. The Colts could have won. The Jags lost their quarterback, and the Jets just blew a lead. I don't get that. I watched some of that game. They just blew a fucking lead. So I easily could have been like 12 for 16. But hey, that's the NFL. It can go one way, it can go another way. Bernardo, what's going on? He said a Buffalo over the Giants. Yeah, Buffalo should beat the Giants. They shouldn't have beat the Jets though. I don't know how they won that game. I turned around and those motherfuckers end up winning. I'm like, man, how the fuck that happened? How the fuck that happened? But yeah, you can start off. We already talked about the Bears and the Pack. I did a video on that one. Um, I mean, Trubisky just sucked. Chicago did the job. I blame the Matt Nagy, the head coach. He also calls the plays. He just sucked as an offensive coordinator. He should have ran the ball more with Tyreek Cohen. He didn't have one carry. Mike Davis and David Montgomery. David Montgomery was breaking a whole bunch of tackles, and they just didn't feed him the rock. So really, Green Bay outcoached Chicago. That's just what it came down to. Um, and Matt Nagy want to throw the ball around with a quarterback who can't throw. The second game, the Rams over Carolina. I peeked around at that game as well. Todd Gurley still on the pitch count. Um, he just on the pitch count, and they did enough to win the game. It was an ugly game. Um, Cook caught a couple big passes down the field. I think Robert Woods had a solid day. Tight end ended up scoring. The Rams eke one out. You just don't know how good Carolina is. I figured the spread out offense that the Rams were running with Cooper Kupp coming back will give that Carolina defense some issues. I figured that's the way it would go. But um, If Todd Gurley ain't healthy, then they're gonna have some issues, in my opinion. But I don't have a feel for the Rams of Carolina because I don't know if Cam healthy or not. The Eagles, they had a slow start versus Washington. Case Keenum came out on fire. The Eagles secondary always been suspect. They didn't address that this offseason. They addressed the front seven. Malik Jackson, I think he had a injury. But Brandon Graham and some of the other guys, Nigel Brenham, they strong up there. And Carson Wentz hit his stride in the second half. Two big throws to Deshaun Jackson. He made some big throws to Alshon Jeffries, who restructured his contract before the game, I believe. And yeah, when you don't play preseason and they let Carson Wentz play preseason, that's what happened. You come out with Russ, they shook the Russ off and they look explosive. Uh, and then word came out they tried to trade Jordan Howard, who they traded for from Chicago, for Melvin Gordon, but obviously it didn't work. Um, the Jets losing to Buffalo. They scored a touchdown late with Le'Veon, and Le'Veon caught a 2-point conversion. I don't know what the fuck Buffalo did, but they came back. But they both of them teams going nowhere fast, so it don't even matter. The Falcons, they just got whooped on by Minnesota. Kirk Cousins was good, at least for that game, and Dalvin Cook was the story. Cook ran all over them. And Atlanta came out there with no juice. That's just what it boiled down. Atlanta came out with no juice. Uh, Matt Ryan got all that money. Got Julio. He got Julio in the end zone though for people who had him in fantasy. But other than that, no juice. Baltimore balled the hell out on Miami Dolphins. They balled out on their ass. They dominated Miami. I mean, I ain't see that ass whooping coming like that. I know Miami ain't that good. Lamar Jackson tossed like 5. Antonio Brown, cousin Hollywood Brown, he caught 2 deep passes. Willie Snead caught a deep pass. Mark Ingram had 2 touchdowns on the ground. And Baltimore looking good. We'll see them again this week versus Arizona. I'll talk about that some more. I picked Jacksonville. They lost to Kansas City, but it wasn't pretty. Tyreek Hill had a broken clavicle. Um, and ironically, Nick Foles had a broken clavicle. So they both out, extended time. They both expect to return this week. But Sammy Watkins was the story. He had 3 touchdowns. He was the fantasy stud of the week. If you had Sammy Watkins, I think he had like 32, 40 points, depending on league or some shit like that. But Sammy Watkins was the fantasy lick. LaShawn McCoy, he didn't do much this week. He just got with the team. And Kelsey had a solid week. Mahomes got hurt in the game. He rolled up on his ankle. He said, "Stop that Buffalo going to the playoffs." You got to be shitting me. Come on. You got to be what, Banco? He got to be shitting me. Them niggas ain't going nowhere quick. Not in that division. We can bet money on that one. And I ain't even a betting man. But you know what? They had the mentor guy, the backup quarterback for Jacksonville. He wasn't half bad. You know what I'm saying? I think Jacksonville can win some game, but I'm concerned about Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette should have had a better game than what he had versus Kansas City. And maybe Leonard Fournette already ran into the ground. He ain't even going to make it to a second contract. Or he ain't going to get a big second contract the way he playing. But D.D. Westbrook, I thought he'd be a stud this week with Nick Foles. He did score touchdowns, but Jacksonville traded for Josh Dobbs too this week. But I like the backup quarterback. We'll see Nick Foles eventually be back. If you say if somebody get injured, Nick Foles or Carson Wentz, most of us would have thought Carson Wentz would have been injured week 1. This Nick Foles, what's going on? But hey, it is what it is. We move on. The Colts and Chargers. The Colts ran all over the Chargers. Their running back Melvin ran for 175 and I think 25 carries. But the Chargers did enough. They just lost their starting tight end today, Hunter Henry. Their receiver Mike Williams might be out some time too. He tore his knee up, I believe. I ain't gonna say tore the Hunter Henry tore his knee up. He'll be out about 4 to 6 weeks. Now they saying Mike Williams might be injured, so the Chargers decimated going to Detroit this week. But at the end of the day, no Melvin Gordon, no Darwin James, no Hunter Henry, possibly no Mike Williams. It is what it is for them. But hey, it was a good game. The Colts came back. T.Y. made a late touchdown. Then the Chargers came back and won. So it was a good. I think it was one of the underrated games this week, man. If Foles didn't get hurt, it would have been a good game. Yeah, it would have been a good game. It was a solid game. It wasn't a putrid game where you couldn't watch it. But Jacksonville had a formidable backup. He made it interesting. He still make Mahomes work. He wasn't sitting there drinking no Gatorade like Tua in Alabama in all their fourth quarters. He made his ass work. But yeah, Foles threw a dime down the field. I still not sold on Kansas City defense at all. Because that was like a rookie quarterback or a journeyman, El Jeff Salute. That mentor guy, whatever his name was, he was throwing that rock around pretty fucking easy on that Kansas City defense, but wrong what built in the day. So week to week teams got to get better. Seahawks, Bengals. Andy Dalton had one of his best statistical days versus Seahawks, and they still came up short. So he hooked up with John Ross, I think, for 2 touchdowns. So it's a John Ross site in the NFL. You know, you told me John Ross caught 2 touchdowns. Andy Dalton had the day statistically they had. I thought, Cincinnati could win. Because Tyler Boyd was a huge part of their offense last year. So if Andy Dalton gonna play like that, they can get something out of Joe Mixon. I think he got hurt in the game, and they just re-signed Giovanni Bernard. They can get something going from the offense. Cincinnati might be a sleeper team once AJ Green get back. I heard his boot came off today. The Bucks is just terrible. Jameis just gonna throw it to the other team. Richard Sherman got a pick six. That was an ugly game. I didn't watch a lot of that game, but it is what it is. Tampa laid an egg. I think they was at the crib too. Cowboys beat the Giants, like such an overreaction. Like they beat the Giants. Like why is Cowboy fans jumping around? Oh, they jumped in the poll from 14-7. Like who the fuck thought the Giants was gonna be something this year? And they let the Giants get on the board first. I don't get it, but we'll talk about it. But they did beat them. Dak threw some wide open. They talking about he threw in the close wins. Oh, that motherfuckers Cooper running wide open, Gallup running wide open. You know what I'm saying? Like they didn't even need Zeke to run the ball. Keep that same energy when they start playing somebody. I swear to God, they be doing the Dallas Cowboys the motherfucking most favors, nigga. They start off with the Giants and the Redskins, two sorry ass teams. Then I think they start off with the Dolphins. They could have made the fucking Dallas Cowboys versus New England Patriots. They could have made the Cowboys and Patriots week one. We'd have been talking about them going from 14-7. Them motherfuckers dropped. New England would have beat them so bad they would drop to 14th to 105, and it's only 30-some teams. Of course they did good, El Jeff. It's the fucking Giants. The Giants are predicted to finish last in the NFC East, bro. And they was at home. They wasn't on the road. They was at home, drinking hot cocoa, eating ribs and shit. Like, come on, how you gonna overblow a win to the Giants, nigga? Get the fuck up out of here. They let them have an easy schedule. Nigga, line them motherfuckers up. New England, New Orleans, and the Eagles. All first 3 weeks, them bitches will be 0-3. Stop playing with me. Lions and Cardinals, I got no words on how that pathetic ass game went. On my opinion on that, check my other channel out, Motor City Sports Talk. The Cowboys finna go 10-6. I ain't mad at it. It ain't 16-0. Steelers got beat down by the Patriots. I ain't had shit else to do that day. I just watched that ass whooping. They just keep beating the hell. They just, like, Juju Smith ain't do shit. James Washington caught one deep ball. The rookie from Toledo, Vance McDonald, nobody showed up for them. Nobody. Defense ain't show up. Patriots still the Patriots. They getting the Kill Harris back. They get AB on the field, and I'll talk about the situation in a second. They be a problem. The game of the week was the Houston Texans and the New Orleans Saints. Deshaun Watson, they didn't do a better job of protecting him. He taking too many hits, dog. Real talk. He taking too many hits, dog. He got sacked, like, I think one of the most in the NFL last year, like 62 times. He was sacked 6 times on Monday night. They need to do a better job of getting the line in front of him. But you notice, he got a good arm, but I don't think he gonna make in the league playing the way he making too much longer. But he threw a dime to Kenny Stills to put them up, and then Chauncey Gardner-Johnson out of Florida, he run into the kicker after he missed the extra point. Kicker made it. Then, Romeo Cornell played a safe defense instead of playing tight coverage and, trusting his front four, sending 5 to get there. He let Drew Brees let Will Lutz get into field goal range. Bill O'Brien, it's about time for him to be fired. It's about time for Bill O'Brien to go. They not giving that no brothers no shit like that. He said that defense was so stupid. He should have played tight. If he rip off a run, so be it. But You know what? You can't front. You can't blame him. Like the motherfucker make a 58-yard field goal. Shit, you live with it instead of making it a 45 or 40 field goal. So, but he should have played a tighter defense. But they played well. They need to protect Watson better. Um, and they need to protect Watson better. Need to run the ball better with him. You know what I'm saying? Carlos Hyde from Ohio State, he ran the ball better. He ran the ball hella good. Duke Johnson had some good runs. Houston should have ran the ball a lot more than what they did to protect Deshaun Watson. And going forward, they need to run the ball a lot more. They had big holes open for Duke Johnson and Carlos Hyde all night, and they just wanted to kept throwing the ball. Bill O'Brien just ain't no good coach. No coach that come from New England is good. Charlie Weiss won shit at Notre Dame. Romeo Crennel, he a good coordinator, but he was a head coach somewhere. I think he didn't do shit. Josh McDaniels didn't do shit. Bill O'Brien ain't do shit. Brian Flores ain't doing shit. You know what I'm saying? All these coaches that come from New England, Matt Patricia ain't doing shit in Detroit. All these coaches that get the job off New England, nigga, you can't take Belichick and you can't take motherfucking Tom Brady with you. When people gonna figure that out? You can take whoever you want to take from the front office, but if it ain't Belichick, you can take whoever you want to take from the field, and it ain't Tom Brady, nigga. You can't. Ain't no point in taking no more New England Patriot coaches. But the Raiders got to win over the Donkeys from Denver. It was terrible. Raiders fan was excited because they got to win. Denver just sucked. Von Miller didn't even show up that night. I ain't hear him and Bradley Chubb name called. So the Raiders did a good job protecting Derek Carr. I don't expect neither one of them to do shit. I don't know. Brian Flores, I don't know. He sucks so far. But I don't see them doing shit. But big headlines from week one is obviously Antonio Brown dominated it. Trying to forcing his way out of Oakland. He forced his way out of Oakland. We know that. He get to New England. He got an opportunity in the first 2 years to make more guaranteed money, or make more money in the first 2 years. 5 more million to be exact than like the 30 million he could have made in Oakland. Old girl saying that he sexually assaulted her on 3 different occasions. She claims she passed a lie detector test. That's not even hold up in court. They don't use that. She claims that she willing to talk to the NFL about the situation with Antonio Brown. So she just too willing and open. I heard she was suing for 75 grand. I heard that's the minimum that the courts in this situation require. She didn't make a police report. She didn't file a criminal. She didn't file a criminal case or nothing. So she just suing for money. She's suing for money. She didn't file it's no charges being brought up. This is strictly a lawsuit. She's a black lady, and you know what? When it's a black lady, and when these black athletes get this money, it's always somebody screaming rape. You got to be careful in the company you keep. I'm scared to be in a room with females by myself that I don't know. I'm scared of one night stands. I'm scared of all that shit now. Not only do you got to look out, for he did this to me, or he did this, or you got to worry about her, putting a hole in the condom. You just got to worry about simple shit, putting a hole in the condom, making sure she ain't gonna burn you, make sure she ain't. Y'all do it, and then you wake up and all your clothes and shoes and your money gone, or you tied up to the bed or some nut shit like that. Now you got to worry about a girl saying, you got to worry about going 3 years ago. Oh, we had a one night stand after we hit the bar, and 3 years ago he did this. At some point, they got to put statutes of limitations on this shit. If you wait more than 365 days to the incident, you can't do shit. They didn't empower females with all this power, yeah, LJFA, and now we got to live with it. It's a sensitive society. I talk about the Cowboys and DeMarcus Lawrence in a minute. They talking, oh, the kid, he shouldn't have did the kid wrong. Motherfucker, don't walk up. That's like you being a Crip and somebody being the blood walking up to you asking, hey, man, what's up, doc? Like, nah. But hey, at the end of the day, he made a lot of enemies, in Pittsburgh and Oakland, and ain't no telling who coming from him. Jim Animal John Q. Salute. Ain't no telling who coming from him. So he laid his bed. Do I feel sorry for him? Yeah, in this situation, I do. The chef suing him. So, at the end of the day, it's no criminal charge, but you know what the NFL is. You a brother, you guilty until proven innocent. That's just in general, but the NFL for sure. You guilty until proven innocent. Oh, we might put him on an exemption list. I'm not charged with nothing. It's a lawsuit. There's no criminal report filed. There's nothing. So if you suspend me and you take away a year of playing, 2, 3 games of playing, 6 games of playing, or 18 games, whatever it may be, you take away from me. Like, dude, I'm gonna sue the shit out the NFL. Let the judicial system play out. If I end up being guilty, then shit, I'm guilty. Shit, all right then. But if I'm innocent, you can't. You can retro pay me. You can pay, but I want more than my money. Like I want that time on the field back. You can't retro pay me for you can't retro credit me for stats I would have got or touchdowns I would have scored. Just like Kobe. They said Kobe did that in Denver. The NBA played. They let him play the year out, and whatever happened happened. So it used to be like that. Leonard Little from the Rams actually killed somebody. Dante Starworth actually killed somebody. The old commissioner Paul Tagliabue, it wasn't an issue on how he was running the league. It wasn't an issue on how Paul Tagliabue was running the league. But when social media came, I guess it was it started going viral. The social media is more harm than help. It's good to keep up with your old high school and college buddies and your old friends and shit, but at this point, man, they can throw the whole social media thing away because everybody doing shit for clout. Everybody doing shit. It's just gotten out of hand. They abuse the good thing. You ever heard of something? Too much of anything is a bad thing, or too much of a good thing is a bad thing too. That's the problem. Y'all think the NFL said this shit is more publicity? Exactly, bro. Now they putting G Easy on the halftime show. I didn't even know he sung that song. I just know that it ain't safe. It ain't safe. I didn't know that was his song. I know of him, but I have never heard an album or know a record by him. Only reason I really know of him is because of the documentary they did on Netflix. You know he sung that, but you see they putting black entertainment on TV now through the NFL, trying to get the black fan back. But they tell us the black dollar doesn't matter. $1 trillion spent into the economy a year by black people, and they tell us our dollar don't matter. But look at them. You think if this Kaepernick thing didn't hurt their ratings, they would have put Meek Mill up there to kick off the show? You think Rhapsody ever would have got there? You think Jay-Z would have got the deal? No, they never would have came knocking for Jay-Z. That's just what it boiled down to. But talk about the Browns. Okay, I watched some of that game, and I knew Tennessee was a good football team. I believe I said it in the preview in the first episode we do. And I'll put these on a podcast. Just give me a minute to set the podcast up, and you can listen to these on the podcast. And I'll put it in the community tab, and I'll put them in the on my social media so you can listen to them as well. But the Cleveland Browns, the thing about the Titans is, I said the Titans got a good defense. Jarrell Casey, Mike Vrabel, I think he a rising star as a coach. He one of the few New England Patriot coaches that I like. He bring a nastiness. He bring a dirtiness in a good way. He bring a toughness. Tennessee is a tough team. Derrick Henry is kind of symbolizes what they want to be, rough and rugged. And if they can run the ball with success, and Mariota can have enough success through the air, they said Derrick Henry on the touchdown run was running over 20 miles an hour. That's a big dude. That dude like 6'2", 6'3", with some wheels on him. So they're a good football team. Delaney Walker caught 2 touchdowns. Kevin Binyard, they all pro safety. He got a pick. And you know what? I told y'all, Lions gonna be Lions and Browns gonna be Browns until other proven wise. You can't crown organizations that are cursed. You got organizations out there that are cursed. You can't crown them. They got to do the job. No matter how good it look on paper. You got to do the job. And the Lions and the Browns got some of the worst history. The only reason the Browns got worse history is because they lost their team to Baltimore. The Baltimore Ravens are the original Cleveland Browns for those that's young that don't know. And I did a video about and I'll get to the Odell thing. The safety, the corner, Logan Ryan used to play for the Patriots. He jumps into the over the rail, and the guy throws a beer in his face, and they say, well, the player shouldn't be jumping over the rail. You get these Cleveland Brown fans in the comment section. You get these stupid fans, these drunk fans, and I get to everything that happened in the NFL that I can think of, even the Mike Scott situation. So at the end of the day, the Lambeau Leap, people hop in the stands all the time. That's his right. If a player want to score a touchdown and hop in the fans, cool. You know what I'm saying? I didn't hit you. Don't you pour no beer in my face mask. But, if old boy would have jumped over and went up the rails and whooped his ass, he'd have been wrong. He would have been wrong to the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? And then he does a podcast with Charlie Weiss, is it? Not Charlie Weiss. The old white boy that be on the NFL Network. He used to be in the Charlie Cashley. He used to be on the NFL Network. He used to be a front office guy. And he says, maybe he just wanted to give you a free beer. And Logan Ryan, he said it jokingly, like, that shit ain't no joke. Like real talk. Like, I don't get it. He said if the dude would have threw a beer at my face and we was in the bar, he said it'd been a different story. You know what I'm saying? They treat niggas like animals. They treat these black players like animals. Don't throw no beer. I would have whooped his ass. Same thing that happened to Montrezl Harrell. He got called an N-word in the NBA. The racist fan in Utah, Russell Westbrook, happened multiple years in a row. Hey, you gonna have to fuck somebody up. These fans think it's a joke, and then they want to get to suing and shit. I don't know what you got in your mouth. That's why Cleveland will never be shit. You got stupid. These white fans get out there. They get to drinking their alcohol. They get to drinking their liquor, and they get to feeling themselves. If you can't control your liquor, I'm telling you, somebody throw a beer on me, I'm knocking them clean out. It ain't even no ifs, ands, and buts about it. One of the dudes was telling me, he got a YouTube channel, I'm not going to say his name, that he said he went to a game in Denver one day, and a guy threw some nachos on his jersey. He had a white jersey. He threw some nachos on his jersey, and the guy kind of pointed and said it's him. He said, you did this? He was chilling, and then he said, yeah, I did it. Then he ended up knocking the guy out and running out the stadium and getting out of town. But at the end of the day, man, don't put your hands on me, bro. And I do notice that, man, that like common courtesy amongst other ethnic groups that's not black, I'll be the first to tell you, black people got some shitty ass customer service. You know what I'm saying? Come to Detroit and go to some McDonald's or go to Coney Island or go to a Family Dollar down in General. I'll be the first one to say it. Black people got some messed up customer service. But white people and Arab people, because there's a big Arab community here in Metro Detroit, and people that are not black, y'all ain't got no fucking courtesy, dog. Y'all don't hold doors. Y'all don't say thank you. Y'all don't wipe down y'all machines up in the weights. Y'all just, customer service, y'all good. And it's always good people out there. But just common courtesy, holding and cutting people off, and like, dude, at some time I'll be in the point where I'm about to smack them upside your head. Yeah, Dearborn is the highest populated Arab city in America. This is right next to Detroit. Dearborn is the highest populated Arab community in America, no doubt about it. Some of the best Mediterranean food you'll find in this country is in Dearborn, Michigan. But the whole Odell thing, and I want to talk about Odell Beckham, man. I want to get back to talk. This ain't even talking about football. I'm talking about this clown. Odell Beckham had a Richard Millie watch on, whatever the fuck you call it, right? And it's a rule against no hard jewelry, no hard cast. So anytime you got a cast in NFL on, like Shannon Sharp was saying, you got to have a soft pad over it. So, Odell Beckham think he found a loophole about wearing this Richard Millie watch, right? He said, I'm going to wear my watch. And he goes out there to try to get attention in Cleveland. And he wears a $350,000 watch, however much that watch was. And this nigga trying to get attention because no attention being shined on him. Odell Beckham is probably not going to be part of a winning franchise. Odell Beckham is going to probably be Brandon Marshall. He's going to be a guy that probably don't win a playoff game. He's going to be a diva. And Brandon Marshall didn't seem to be a bad guy. He had his mental illnesses, and I think he was part of Bronco player getting killed back in the day. Somebody shot out their limousine. I think Brandon Marshall had something to do with that. But that's nor here nor there. You know what I'm saying? This dude is talking about a fucking watch and not an L. He wear a fucking $350,000 watch, or however the watch is, and he trying to say, oh, the watch isn't hard. The watch is indestructible. That's his claim to fame. Yeah, Darren Williams was it. The watch indestructible. So if something is indestructible, so it ain't hard. So what is it? A foamy, soft, indestructible watch? They talking about a watch. They not talking about Baker Mayfield looking bad. They not talking about Freddie Kitchen being on the hot seat like people saying. They talking about a watch. They talking about Odell Beckham going out there wearing a watch. He fighting the NFL over wearing a watch. What you need to know what time it is? He said it's plastic. It don't even matter. What you need to wear, it shouldn't even be no question. Odell, don't wear the watch. You fighting the NFL over a watch. Real talk, DeJuan, salute. You fighting the NFL over a watch, bro. You fighting the NFL over a watch. Not lifetime benefits, not guaranteed contracts. Not because your tights, you don't want to wear your tights on. If you don't wear your tights to a certain length, that's a $7,000 fine. Remember Torrey Hart and Isaac Bruce? They wore their tights too low or too high back when they was the greatest show on turf, and they got fined for it. Like, you talking about a bitch ass watch. Not how y'all lost. How didn't not that you didn't get in the end zone? I understand he had a hip injury. They ain't talking about, oh, I need to rehab my hip. He talking about a loss. This is a dude that never played 16 games in the NFL. Never. This is the same guy that went to Green Bay, Eli Manning, put the ball on his chest, on the numbers, dropping the ball. Really, what does Odell claim to fame? What does Odell claim to fame? I was looking at Alvin Kamara the other night, and I said, "Damn, what do you need a chain on for?" Because the chain had came out the shoulder pad by the chest, and it was hanging. I said, "I can get ripped off." What you need to wear a chain around your neck for while you playing football? Why you need to wear a watch while you playing football? Remember Gilbert Arenas wore the Dolce & Gabbana shoes in the NBA game? Like, for what? Odell Beckham is like you said, Jeff. He living off a catch. He living off brown, the blonde hair, which is gone, and he a dancer. Odell Beckham is not going to be part of a winning program. I think the Giants realize that. I think most of us in here realize that. I like the way he played football, but he's a diva. I want Calvin Johnsons on my team. I want Larry Fitzgerald's on my team. I want Jerry Rice on my team. I want Andre Johnson's on my team. I want DeAndre Hopkins on my. I want real guys that's dedicated to win. Odell Beckham is not dedicated to win, and Baker Mayfield, he's dealing with. I'm not gonna say he trash, but he's dealing with a lot right now. It used to be simple. You got Jarvis in the slot. You got Njoku in tight end. You got Higgins on the outside, and the other young guy that got suspended. It's simple. When you complicate things, you put Odell out there. You know what I'm saying? Now you got Jarvis. Now you got Njoku. Now you got High. You eventually had Kareem Hunt. Then you get the other receiver back that got suspended with a lot of speed. Now you want to make everybody happy. But not only that, now the NFL is adjusting to what you did last year. Oh, we seen Baker Mayfield for hypothetical. He had his most success throwing outside the numbers. All right, let's play his receivers and bait him to go inside. Let's force his receivers to go inside and see if he can make the tough throws, over the middle. Come on. They're going to adjust to Baker Mayfield. Now Baker Mayfield has to adjust on the fly into what the defense is doing to him. It ain't just, we got Odell and Jarvis, it should be easy. No. The coach still got to go out there and design plays. Not only is the coach never been an offensive coordinator until the middle of last season, I don't believe. The head coach is a manager. That's why they call the manager in baseball a manager. Really, every head coach should be called a manager. It ain't just about coaching. You managing personalities. You managing men. You managing time. The head coach set the schedule. We're going to practice Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, do walkthrough Friday. The special teams coach reporting to him. Defensive coordinator reporting to him. Offensive coordinator reporting to him. Are we leaving out for Baltimore Friday at 9 p.m.? Oh man, Antonio late. He got to deal. It's a management of personalities. It's management of time. And then on top of that, you trying to ask a dude that never been an offensive coordinator a full year to be a head coach and manage time and manage 53, 60 plus 60 something, what, 65 personalities plus the practice squad plus tile boys plus coaches, and it's tough. Jalen, salute. It's tough. He gonna have an adjustment period. You can't. It's hard to call plays and be a head coach in the NFL. It's hard. Then you gotta worry about if that's a fight, if somebody don't like somebody, if you gotta fine somebody for being late. He got an adjustment period to make, and on top of that, he got to see what Baker did wrong. But you know what? This might be the best defense Baker might see all year. I don't think I don't think neither one of them be fired no time soon. Now, if there was somebody they had some melanin in their skin color, they'd be fired. But it's fixable. I'm not panicking off nobody this week. Everything Cleveland did is fixable. I mean, let me look at Cleveland's schedule for a minute. Tennessee got a really good defense. You know what I'm saying? Stats don't always tell the story. Tennessee is a really solid team. And like I told y'all, the one dude that come from New England that I put my money on to be successful as a coach is Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel got it. You know what I'm saying? He understands the football game. The Jets defense ain't nowhere near the Titans. The Rams defense, I don't think is going to be near the Titans. They got stars, but the Titans been together a few years. Baltimore, I'm not sure. They lost a lot of stars. Miami was tough to tell. 49ers got a good defense on paper. Seahawks let Andy get off on them. They got a lot of young time. New England, they always up there in defense. They'll figure it out, so they'll be pretty good. Denver looked light, but they still got adjustment period. Buffalo defense is pretty good. Pittsburgh defense, we got to wait and see. Dolphins, come on. Bengals always solid, but Marvin ain't there no more. The Cardinals defense ain't really shit. I don't even want to talk about them. Ravens, but yeah, so Tennessee might be a top 2 or 3 defense they play all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it ain't no shame to that. Week 1, it wasn't written like it's just in week 1. It takes time to adjust. So I'm not panicking if I'm Cleveland at all. What we gonna do is gonna run the ball. We're gonna run the ball. We're gonna simplify shit. We're gonna get the run game going. We're gonna feed Nick Chubb. When Kareem Hunt get back, we're gonna feed him, and everything is gonna be predicated off the run. When they start stacking the box, then we go to Odell, we go to Jarvis, we go to Njoku. Simplify shit. Don't go out there trying to prove a point. If your matchup ain't, throwing the ball 30, 40 times a game, you got a better matchup because they only couldn't put 7 in the box. Freddie Kitchen need to keep it simple. Keep it simple. Run the ball, play action, bootleg, get it to your playmakers. Keep it simple. Who else we talking about this week? Let's talk about Matt Ryan from last week. Disappointment. Matt Ryan is a fucking disappointment. That team got too much talent offensively to be shut out for the majority of that game. If I was to panic about any team this week, it'd be the Atlanta Falcons. But at least Julio scored. But Vikings got a good team. But Julio, Ridley, Hooper, Sanu, Devontae Freeman, which he need to get back on track after being injured the last couple of years. They got the squad. Atlanta was the biggest disappointment this week. Matt Ryan is terrible. He is terrible. I was disgusted looking at that score. I expected them to go to Minnesota and do a lot better than they did. But it's week 1. I'm not writing them off. Jacoby Brissett had a solid week 1. That Charger defense is good. Bosa, Ingram, Casey Hayward, all pro type of caliber guys. They didn't have Derwin James, but you know what? I like Jacoby Brissett. I said it going in. Lamar Jackson just tore it up. Lamar Jackson tore it up this week, man, and it was Miami. They had a lot of shit going down there, but Lamar Jackson looked good throwing the ball. But you know what? You gotta wait and see. You know, 1 week don't make you improved. So Lamar Jackson do it versus Arizona. He string weeks together throwing the ball that way. They're gonna be all right. And that's what he did in college. Lamar Jackson specialized in the deep ball. And I think what happened last year was what their receivers did well. It wasn't conducive to what Lamar Jackson do well. Most of their receivers were timing pattern receivers. Michael Crabtree is a route runner. He ain't gonna run by nobody. Willie Snead was there last year. They had John Brown. I don't understand. I think they had John Brown last year. I don't know why it didn't work with John Brown and Willie Snead. Well, last year, but this year they get Hollywood Brown. You got Willie Snead out there, and they throwing the ball around. So shout out to Lamar Jackson. I look forward to him. And Cowboys the Cowboys. They beat up on the Giants. They supposed to win that game. So I'm not praising nobody for doing shit you supposed to do. The Giants was supposed to win that game. Shout out to them. They held it down. They did what they were supposed to do. But the Texans and the Saints was the game of the week, and I watched majority all of them. Only game I didn't pay attention to was probably the Tampa and the 49ers like that. But week one was good. We talked about the Antonio Brown thing. We talked about the Odell Beckham thing. Carson Wentz looked good on his way back. Him and Deshaun Jackson was deadly. D-Jack was deadly. And I look forward to the Eagles. The Eagles need to be trying to get another corner. But when you got a front seven like that, they may be all right. But we went 7 for 16. I got to do better this week. But week one is always the toughest to predict. This ain't college where you could play Kickistan State or you could play Akron or some shit like that. These are real NFL teams. And a lot of teams didn't warm up the way they should have warmed up, in my opinion. So a lot of preseason is important. But let's look at the week 2 schedule, man. Let's start talking about week 2. Talk about week 2. All right. We got Thursday night games already. Damn. All right, week 1 kick off tomorrow. Bucks and Panthers. Short week. I'm not a fan of Thursday night games. The only Thursday night game I ever was excited about, not on Thanksgiving, was that Rams and it was a high scoring Thanksgiving game. I can't remember what it was. It was one Thursday night. It was the Rams and the Vikings. You know what I'm saying? Fred Jackson, Sammy Crouton was going on. That's the only Thursday night game I was excited about, man. But Thursday night fucking football suck. Let basketball have it. Let college have it. Fucking suck. You know what I'm saying? But Jameis Winston didn't have a good week last week. Looking at Tampa, and I kind of want to look at their stat sheet from last week. They only scored 17 points. 49ers got a formidable defense. Jimmy Garoppolo didn't do much of nothing. 166 with 1 touchdown, 1 interception. They didn't run. Nobody had a great individual run game for the 49ers. Kittles did what he do. He had 8 catches, 54 yards, and 49ers got a good defense. At least on paper attributes. I don't think Joey Bosa played, but they did get some production out of Ronald Jones, the second out of USC from Lurkey from last year. 13 carries, 75 yards. Winston 20 for 36, 91, 94, 1 TD, 34 yards. I really gonna favor Carolina in this one. Cam Newton, his arm still hurt, but they could have won that game last week versus the Panthers. But he gotta be better. Jared Goff didn't play particularly well. 186, 1 TD, 1 interception. Gurley did almost have 100 yards, but he only had 14 touches. And his running back Malcolm Brown had 11 touches. So should be an interesting game right here, to be honest. Cam Newton 25 for 38, 239. McCaffrey, I'm gonna go off the strength of McCaffrey in this one. I'm gonna go Carolina, man. Carolina win this game. I'm gonna say they're gonna win. They're gonna win by more than a touchdown. I know it's Thursday night. I know Cam ain't healthy. It may be closer because it's on Thursday. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the. I'm gonna take Carolina. Let me know who y'all take, Carolina or fucking or Tampa Bay, and I'll talk a little fantasy too. I ain't no fantasy savant. He said Rams versus Chiefs last year. Was that a Thursday night game? I couldn't remember. Yeah, that shit was. Yeah, that was one of that was probably the best one. But that Vikings and Rams game was good too. That shit was a good game too. That was high scoring. All right, Ravens and Cardinals. Yeah, I watched the Cardinals last night. They had a draw with the Lions, and the Lions virtually defense dominated for 3 quarters, and then the offense for started going three and out, and the Cardinals caught back up because we went to prevent defense. But this should be interesting. The reason this should be interesting is because um, we see how real Kyler Murray is this week. He said Monday night, or I was talking Thursday night. We'll see how good the Cardinals is. Kyler Murray is this week. The Ravens got an okay defense. They still got some guys out there. Um, he going to Baltimore. He going outside. It won't be cold. Um, he be playing Lamar Jackson. Uh, you know, Arizona missing their top 2 cornerbacks. I'm gonna go with the Ravens. I'm gonna go with the Ravens to beat the Cardinals. Cardinals going on the road. That's a 1 p.m. start Sunday. Chargers, Lions. I'm picking Lions. You want to know why? Check my other channel out, Motor C Sports Talk. Chargers lost a starting tight end. Their number 2 receiver, Mike Williams, might be out. No Darwin James, one of the best safeties in the game. No Melvin Gordon. They on the road. They going west to east. I like the Lions. They might disappoint. Probably will disappoint, but hey, everything in the making for them, man. Colts and Titans is a good game right here. Tennessee is one of those young team was one of those teams that this is a turn in the corner of the game for Tennessee. If you want to believe SJ Fish 101, what's going on? If you really want to believe Tennessee turning the corner and they a different franchise or a different team now, this is a game the Tennessee Titans got to win. Tennessee, this is if Tennessee is not a team that's going to be reckoned with in the AFC South, they're going to lose this game. If they're a team that's serious, they're going to handle their business at home versus Indianapolis Colts and put them away. Colts got a good defense. They got a solid defense. They coming along. But they on the road again, and it's a way to start the season off. The Colts start the season off with 2 road games. I like Tennessee here. I'm gonna say Tennessee is probably gonna be a surprise team. Delaney Walker still looking good. The Colts got a quarterback. Jacoby Brissett can play. The only reason they didn't win last week, I don't know why the fuck they didn't win last week, but they should. Jacoby Brissett is a damn good quarterback. He's a starting quarterback in this league. So the quarterback thing got a problem. The Colts lost in overtime last week to the Chargers on the road. So they got a team. This is a winnable game for them, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick the Titans. The Colts got a quarterback. No, that ain't even no excuse. It ain't Andrew Luck, but they got a quarterback. But I'm gonna take the Titans. 49ers and Bengals. Bengals at home. 49ers didn't look particularly good last week. Bengals looked good last week. Jameis Winston basically gave the 49ers the game, but Jimmy Garoppolo, it don't seem like he ain't shit right now after that knee injury at all. The Bengals defense only gave up 21 points to Russell Wilson last week. It's probably going to be more of an anomaly. He went 14 for 20, 195, 2 touchdowns. They held their run game in check last week, the Bengals. DK Metcalf had 4 catches, 89 yards. Tyler Lockett had a touchdown for 1 catch. So the Bengals defense did pretty well. They didn't get much out the run game. 13 carries for 31 yards between Mixon and Bernard. John Ross went off last week, so I'm picking the Bengals. I take the Bengals. If that's considered an upset. Is it? Hold on. Let me see. I'm trying to see. Yeah, it's 'cause, they got the Bengals favored by 5. I think if I'm reading it right, I think the Bengals favored by 5. So I got the Bengals winning that game at home. Had a good showing last week. I got the Bengals winning that game. Let me know y'all got the Bengals or the 49ers. Um, I like the Bengals in that game. I'm not sure if Jimmy Garoppolo all the way back, and then pass rush slow down on the road due to the crowd. So I'm gonna say surprisingly the Bengals start off 2-0. I had them lose on 1-1. My bad. They lost to the fucking Seahawks last week. But I'm gonna say they get on the motherfucking I'm gonna say they get on the motherfucking on the board this week with a win. All right, you got Jacksonville and Houston. Jacksonville got that rookie backup quarterback. Houston better win. They still got a defense. Mahomes is one of a kind. Uh, they won against Mahomes last week. Jacksonville. I'm gonna say a little bit closer than expected, but I like Tennessee. I like the Texans in this one. I like Houston in this one. I'm gonna say they win by. I'm gonna say they win by a touchdown, at least a touchdown. I think it's gonna be close. I think people may be seeing what Patrick Mahomes did to them last week. Well, that's Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, they hung up 40 on them last week. I think it'll be a little bit close. I think it'll be a lot closer than 40-26. But I like Houston in that one. In Houston, if Houston don't win that one, then I expect Bill O'Brien to be fired. I do. If Houston don't, and now if Nick Foles is playing, then that's a pick 'em. But if Houston don't win this game, Nick Carnell, what's going on? If Houston don't win that game, he should be fired. No ifs and buts about it. Somebody asked me who would be fired first, Patricia or Freddie Kitchen, Bill O'Brien if you lose that game next week. Got the Vikings taking on the Green Bay. I think that's one of the better games of the week. This is the best game we covered so far. Minnesota looked unbelievable at home. They get the pleasure of going to Green Bay before it starts snowing or getting cold. So this is a good draw for Minnesota. We'll see if Green Bay defense is as good as it was or Trubisky was trash. It's a few cross matchups that I got to so far. Kyler Murray, was the Lions defense gas and that trash at the end, or was the trend the first 3 quarters when they held him in check? Because ironically, he only put up 3 points in the first 3 quarters because the punt returner fumbled the ball and gave him a field goal. So in this situation, we're gonna see if Green Bay defense is good. They bought in Zadarius Smith, they bought in Preston Smith, they got Blake Martinez. We're gonna see if Green Bay defense is the real deal this week. They at home versus Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings put on the clinic versus the Atlanta Falcons. And also, if the Falcons that trash, or is the Vikings that good? So this is a good game. He said he live in Minnesota, Cardinal. So yeah, it's a good game. It's a tough one to call. Because Minnesota, if you really want to look in the NFC and you say it's the Bears defense, really looking at it, the Vikings defense might be the next best thing. They've been together a long time. Danielle Hunter, one of the most underrated pass rushers. Anthony Barr, Everson Griffin, Eric Kendricks in the middle, Trey Wangs, Xavier Rhodes, Harrison Smith. They might be one of the top defenses, in the NFC. You got New Orleans, they pretty good, but they got lit up the other night. How good are they? I know Watson is an animal. Dallas got a pretty good defense. Eagles on paper, but they let Case Keenum throw a block party in the first half. So looking at it, it's a good game. Good game. Green Bay so tough to beat in the frozen tundra, but it ain't gonna be frozen. It ain't gonna be frozen. I'm gonna say Minnesota defense. It's hard for me to trust Kirk Cousins. It's hard for me to trust First Cousins. But you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick Minnesota to win this game. I'm gonna go out on a limb and pick Minnesota to come out with the dub. I'm gonna pick Minnesota. Green Bay 2.5 favorite. I'm picking Minnesota. They gonna cover that. They gonna go for the win. I like Minnesota over Green Bay. Reasons I like Minnesota over Green Bay, I think their defense is good enough. I'm not saying they the Chicago Bears defense from last week. I think the defense good enough, and I think their offense put up enough points. I'm not totally sold on Green Bay defense. I think Dalvin Cook can have a good day on the ground, and I think Stephon Diggs will be a week healthier. And I think they're gonna get some plays out of Adam Thielen. I like Minnesota to start the season off 2-0. Cowboys and Redskins. Redskins, they got shit from them Cowboys. Cowboys gonna win that game. They on the road. It's more DMV fans. It's more Cowboy fans in the DMV than it is Redskin fans. Despite the Redskins actually having a championship lineage, just as the Cowboys do. Um, you know what? I just see them winning. Their defense is solid. They held up versus Walker to a wins for a minute last week, but he was a little rusty. But last year they beat the Dallas Cowboys, and Eli has some success. Eli has some success versus them, um, last year. But you know what? The Philadelphia Eagles secondary is nowhere near as good as the it's nowhere near as good as the Cowboys secondary. Just looking at the corners. Um, Keenum had a good day, 30 for 44, 380 in through the air, 3 touchdowns. Um, we see. This might be a trap game, but I'll look at Dallas to win that game, man. They should definitely win that game. But it could be a trap game. It is a road game. It's a divisional game. But I expect them to win that game. Start off 2-0. How about them Cowboys? Uncle Ruckus love them Cowboys. I love me some Papa John's Jerry Jones. Uncle Ruckus, Uncle Ruckus, he co-signs the Cowboys. All right, then we going to Seattle, going to Pittsburgh Steelers. That's a must-win for Pittsburgh. Andy Dalton had an efficient day going up to Seattle. If Roethlisberger struggle versus Seattle, it's going to be a problem. Mike Tomlin just signed a 1-year extension. He might be getting fired. He might be getting that money up front. This is a must-win for the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt got to show up. Devin Bush got to show up. Offense didn't look good. Seattle got a young defense, but they got some dogs. Zeke Ansah didn't play last week. He may play this week. Jadeveon Clowney. They got some horses up front for Seattle. This is a tough one to pick because it's hard to envision the Steelers starting off 0-2. They got rid of Homeboy, though. They got rid of Homeboy. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. It's going to be a tough one. I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. I'm going to take Pittsburgh at the home. I don't see Pittsburgh going to an 0-2 hole. I like Pittsburgh. New Ying salute. I like Pittsburgh in this one. I don't see Pittsburgh going 0-2. Seattle didn't do good at home versus the Bengals. And nobody got the Bengals doing nothing, but maybe the Bengals better than what we think they are. I'm taking Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh to get the job done. Hold on. All right, let's go on to the next one. Buffalo and the Giants. Oh, man. Talk about your toilet bowl game. Buffalo starting off 2-0. I believe Buffalo has some success this week against the Giants. They had the New York Giants, but Buffalo ain't too far. You crazy. Man, nigga, Seattle barely beat the Bengals, dude, at home. By a point. They beat the Bengals by a point, bro, at home. I know. Let that sink in, but Buffalo at the Giants. I like the Bills here. John Brown had a good connection with Josh Allen last week. This might be a game the Giants can get. You get the Bills on the road, but I got the Bills here, man. I got the road team winning this one. The Bills. And I like John Brown in fantasy this week. I had him last week. He He did good by me last week. I like John Brown this week. If you got John Brown, start him. Patriots and Dolphins, stop playing with me. Patriots by 50. By 50. Not 50, by 50. I like the Patriots big in that one. Chiefs and Raiders. Chiefs going to the Raiders. Um, I think it might be closer than what people think. I think my homeboy throw up 35 points. I think Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr. I'm gonna say they. I'm gonna say 28. I'm gonna say 28 to like 37. I'm gonna say 28 to 37. I'm gonna say Derek Carr gonna put points up on the Chiefs. I'm gonna say it's gonna be close. It's gonna be a close game. I like the Chiefs to edge it out. No Tyreek Hill, so defense is gonna focus on Sammy Watkins. But I like the Chiefs now. I think it'll be closer than what people think it is. I think this is the game of the week, or one of the. I think this is the game of the week. Rams and Saints. It's a good one. The Saints on the road. They're gonna be outside. They're looking for revenge versus the Rams. The Rams didn't look particularly good last week, but they was on the road. The Saints look pretty good offensively. Um, this is a tough one. It's a tough one. I'm pick the Saints. I'm pick the Saints in this one. I'm gonna have this. I know what. Nah. I'm gonna pick the home team. I'm gonna take the Rams. When dome teams go outside, they ain't the same. I'm gonna take the Rams in this one. I'll take the Rams. For one, dome team going outside. For two, I think Jared Goff. I think open up the offense this week. I think Todd Gurley get more carries. Um, I think Cooper Kupp get more targets. I like Cooks. I like Woods matchup. I think Kamara be a problem. I think it'll be a lot of points scored in this game, but I think the Rams pull it off. Close game. I'll probably say 35-38. I'm going to say a field goal winner at the end for the Rams. We go either way. But I'm going to take the Rams because they're at home. Bears and Broncos. Want a beer, kill a Bronco? A bear. I got the Bears going to Denver and winning. Flacco, 7 interceptions, 3 pick sixes. I say that joking. They got the Bears getting on the board. Eagles and Falcons. Falcons at home, Sunday night game. Uh, Matt Ryan need this one. He need it bad. You got old walking to him Wentz going down to the Mercedes Benz Dome. I almost say the Georgia Dome. You got walking to him. You got Matt Ryan. I think walking to him got his legs together. He got his arm together. Jackson, Jeffries, Aguilar, Zach Ertz, Howard, Sproles, Julio, Matt Ryan, Calvin Ridley. It's a good game. It's a must win for the Falcons. Birds versus birds. Feathers versus feathers. I'm going with the Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles. Wouldn't surprise me if the Falcons won. They're at home. They're a different home team in that dome. But I just think the Eagles got a lot of time. But I look for Matt Ryan to have a big game. But after that shit he pulled off last week, and I understand Minnesota got a better secondary than than uh than uh than the Philly. I'm trusting the Eagles to go down there and put a block party up. And then the last game is the Jets and the Browns. Jets at home Monday night. I'm gonna pick Cleveland to get on the board. Get on Mike Salute. I go subscribe to Get on Mike Boxing. GEM Boxing. I'm gonna take the Browns to get on the board. Yeah, I don't like Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold not that fucking good at all. I don't like Sam. He suck. And I got the Browns winning and getting on the board. Odell will have his $100,000 watch on balling out. So what we got this week is got Carolina over Tampa. I got the Ravens over the Cardinals. I got the Lions over the Chargers. Go. I got the Titans over Colts. I got the Bengals. Who fuck the Bengals playing? I'm trying to sharpen my memory. Bengals playing somebody. I think the Bengals over the 49ers. I think it is. I got Houston over Let me look at the fucking schedule. The fuck Houston play? Got Houston over Jacksonville. Got Minnesota over Green Bay, road team. I got the Cowboys stumping out the Redskins, road team. I got the Bills beating up on the New York Giants, road team. I got the Pats beating Miami. I don't even matter if they're at the home or at the crib. Miami do be playing them tough at home. They had the Miami Miracle last year, but that ain't the same team. I got the Chiefs over the Raiders. I think closer than what people expected. And the Chiefs on the road. Damn, Chiefs had two road games to start off. That's crazy. I got the Rams over the Saints. That's a close one. Got the Bears, the Care Bears over the Donkeys from Denver. I got the Eagles on Sunday night going to the the Mercedes-Benz Dome to beat the Atlanta Falcons. I got the Browns over the Jets. You say I got the Jets. Man, they lose to the Jets. Freddie Kitchen getting fired. Miami might go 0-16. That's nuts. But fantasy advice this week, John Brown, niggas. Wherever you playing, regular fantasy, standard, FanDuel, I do FanDuel or DraftKings. John Brown is my special pick this week. Also, get some Philly and Falcon players. Philly versus Eagles versus Falcons should be a high score game. Um, if I'm you, I'm fading everything in Chicago and Denver but the defenses. I wouldn't fuck with nothing but defense. Chicago defense is my defensive player of the week. Saints and Rams, yeah, I'll get some players out of that game. Um, Drew Brees always fickle going outdoors. I really don't love Drew Brees outdoors, but LA never rains in Southern California. Alvin Kamara, I like him this week. Todd Gurley, if he can get more than 14 carries, that's the mystery about him. You don't know. Malcolm Brown might get in the end zone 2 more times. Took the Rams. Took the Rams, yeah, I had the Rams. Uh, but I like that game. Players in that game, I like. If I had to running back, Alvin Kamara out that game. Michael Thomas, love him in that game. They had no answer for him. That's a big star this week. You got Michael Thomas, big star. Jared Cook, big star this game. Kamara, Jared Cook, and Michael Thomas, I'm rolling with them this week. If you need a cheaper play or you heard it for a receiver, either Troyquan Smith or Ted Ginn. If you really hurt. Chiefs and Raiders. My mind telling me to think about Derek Carr to start him if you got him. But if you don't got to start him, I wouldn't start him. But I like Josh Jacobson, and I like Josh Jacobson in that game. Sammy Watkins again, obviously. Love him in that game. The rookie receiver, Georgia. Maybe even LaShawn McCoy, he might get called to speed, man. But Travis Kelce, huge in that game. Raiders, Jacobs all day. Tyrell Williams, too. I might have a Derek Carr stack somewhere, maybe at 4 p.m. only, somewhere in there on FanDuel. But Patriots and Dolphins, Patriots defense, all Patriot players. It might, hey, you know what? That might be a sneak upset because usually former Patriot coaches beat the shit out of Belichick. That's usually how it go. Seahawks and Steelers, that's a tough one. I wouldn't pick nobody in that game. I don't know how that's gonna go. If you got to and you got guys, you trust their talent. You got Roethlisberger, your best quarterback. Trust his talent. You got Wilson, trust his talent. Cowboys and Redskins, probably Dak have a good game, but he on the road. He on the road. That's it's tough. That game is another sketchy game. Minnesota, Green Bay. I like Dalvin Cook again. I like Dalvin. I like Dalvin Cook. Rodgers, I don't know. I like Cook. Kirk Cut. First Cousins is always a crapshoot. But two players I like for sure, Dalvin Cook and Adam Thielen in that game. Houston and Jaguars, man, Hopkins and motherfucker Watson. Hopkins and Watson. He gonna eat. Will Fuller gonna eat too. I like them three. Kenny Stills, you need a receiver. You need you low on money, or you ain't got other people in your standard fantasy league to go to. I like Kenny Stills in that game as a sleeper. 49ers, Bengals. Man, tough one. I don't know. Tough one. If you hurting for a running back, Giovanni Bernard, I think Mixon hurt. I think he hurt. Kittles. George Kittles all day, I guess. Titans, Colts. Derrick Henry. I like him. Uh, T.Y. Hilton, I like him. Uh, those are two I just think off bat. I like them. The quarterbacks, I ain't too sold. Lions, Chargers. If you hurting C.J. Anderson, Kerryon Johnson, Melvin ran for 175 in them last week. I like the Lions running backs this week. T.J. Hawkinson too. He a problem. And I got Minnesota winning. T.J. Hawkinson is a problem. So I like the running backs from the Lions. Hawkinson. Chargers wise, Keenan Allen, Eckler. And that's really it because they got a lot of injuries going on. You know, Ravens and Arizona. I love Lamar Jackson this week. That's my lock of the week. Lamar Jackson again. Hollywood Brown, Mark Ingram. I love them three from Baltimore. Love Baltimore defense this week. Love them. So I like Baltimore. Panthers and Buccaneers. Christian McCaffrey. Sleeper Ronald Jones the third. Sleeper guy. My lock of this week is Lamar Jackson, fantasy wise. My sleeper fantasy pick of the week. Well, my sleeper is John Brown from the Bills. But to give you another sleeper, my another sleeper this week is probably going to be John Ross of the Cincinnati Bengals. John Ross of the Bengals this week. I like him. So my sleepers of the week is two running backs. Two receivers, John Brown and John Ross. Bengals, Buffalo Bills, and Bengals. My defensive lock of the week is the Ravens or the Patriots. Quarterback start of the week, Lamar Jackson. Running back, I like the most this week going into fantasy. One of them New England motherfuckers, but Kamara, I like. So these are the guys I like. Tight end of the week, Travis Kelce, Zach Ertz. So those are the guys I like this week. So, like I said, I'm gonna turn this into a podcast format. So if you want to re-listen to it, we went over week 1. We picked for week 2. Went through fantasy. So we held it down. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email. If you got a question, business inquiry, sponsorship, a video request, all those links in the description. Want to make a donation? That link's also in the description as well. He said, "How about Brady?" Yeah, for sure. I mean, anybody versus the fucking Dolphins, But I caution Miami has some success versus New England and Miami. So yeah, but New England might hand that motherfucker off for all they touchdowns. So New England, you just don't never know who gonna get the touchdown. So if you trying to snack a Brady stack, you gotta hit right. He might throw 4 touchdowns, but he might throw that motherfucker to Dorsett, and he might throw it to whoever they tight end is 2 times. He might throw it to James White, and you done started Sony Michel, and you done started fucking Wes Welker. He threw his you don't know who gonna get the ball in New England. You know what I'm saying? Because really, quarterbacks don't get that many points in the grand scheme of things, unless they rush it. So in New England, it can be whoever they tight end is, Ben Watson once he get back. It could be Wes Welker. It could be Sony Michel, Burkhead if they still got him, James White. You don't know who can get the ball in New England. That's the crazy thing about New England. You don't know who gonna get the ball in New England, man. You start James White, Sony Michel rush for 3 touchdowns. Next week you start Sony Michel, James White rush for 3 touchdowns. But hey, Appreciate the love, support. Make sure I hit that subscribe and bell icon button, man. This is going on our NFL Live playlist. So I'm going to go be back next week, God willing, 6 o'clock. Or I start a little bit early today, so it'll be around that 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. One time for the one time. Goodfellas Sports TV, we gone.